In today's video, we're talking about one of the most powerful nutrients, a nutrient that's been studied for decades, however, still flies under the radar, and that is going to be N-Acetyl Cysteine, or NAC. We're going to talk about how NAC will support your immune health, your lung health, your liver health, and even your brain, and why it's one of the most powerful supplements for longevity and detoxification. So powerful that the FDA actually tried to make it a prescription so that you could no longer purchase it over the counter. So if you want to sleep a little better, breathe a little easier, and you want to support your cells and keep them young and resilient, you're going to want to stick around to the end, because I'm going to show you how NAC works and also how to use it effectively for maximum benefit. So let's dive in. But before we do, I'm Dr. Nick Zyrowski, and thanks for hanging with me in another video today. I first want to kick it off with talking about what NAC is. Well, NAC is N-Acetyl Cysteine, and essentially what it is a derivative of the amino acid cysteine. What makes it so powerful is that NAC is a precursor to glutathione. And glutathione is considered the master antioxidant in the body, one of the most powerful antioxidants in the cell. And if you don't have it, the cell would actually die. So it's really important. Now, think of glutathione as an internal cleanup crew in the body. It's going to protect your cell from toxins. It's going to protect your cells from pollutants, heavy metals, and oxidative stress, which we know eventually leads to inflammation and disease over time. And it's a huge part of accelerating aging in the body. Now, without enough cysteine, or NAC, essentially what's going to happen is your body can't make this glutathione. And when you don't have enough glutathione, your detox systems won't work correctly, and also you are not going to be protecting yourself properly from oxidative stress. So if you want to boost detox and you want to boost the protection of oxidative damage with antioxidants in the body, you want to make sure that you're utilizing NAC. That's how powerful it is. Now, let's move on to your liver health, because now we talked about how it boosts glutathione, but how does this all impact the liver, which is really important, because if you think about this, the liver is the organ that supports all organs, and if we can do some really good things in order to promote liver health, then our whole body is going to do so much better. This is why whenever you're struggling with sleep issues, it always comes back down to support your liver. If you're struggling with high cholesterol, high blood sugar problems, it all comes down to support the liver. So when we look at liver protection, NAC is a big part of it. NAC has actually been even studied in hospitals in order to help people with overdoses or combating toxic exposures, because what happens is that NAC rapidly restores glutathione to the liver. But you don't have to overdose on a toxin in order to actually use NAC. Everyday toxic exposures such as processed foods, alcohol, environmental pollutants such as pesticides and herbicides in our food, or even the harshness of the use of medication on the liver, NAC can actually support you with this. When your liver gets overloaded, it essentially is going to struggle to be able to detoxify effectively, and it's going to lead to fatigue, inflammation, and a lot of metabolic issues. When we look at metabolic syndrome, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with high cholesterol, high blood sugar, fatty liver, all of these different issues that NAC could actually help unwind in your body. Now, your NAC usage is going to help you not only flush out toxins, but also regenerate liver cells. So one of the amazing things about the liver is that it's capable of regenerating. It just has to have the right resources in order to do so. It's also going to help reduce oxidative stress in the liver, and it can be an excellent way to daily support detoxification and reverse the negative effects of toxins on the liver. So stick around to the end, because I'll share with you how much you would have to use in order to accomplish this according to the research. But now let's look at NAC and how it impacts your respiratory health. This is a really big deal. Now, at the very beginning of this video, I told you that the FDA actually tried to ban the sale of NAC. This happened to be during the pandemic. And during this time, what was found is that NAC was very, very important and beneficial for respiratory health. And at the same time, they said, you know what, we're going to look back at an old law that was looking at making this a prescription, and so therefore we shouldn't really let people buy this stuff because of this old law. And essentially big big box stores such as Walmart or even online stores such as Amazon took it all away so that you couldn't actually purchase it because they didn't want to fall under scrutiny of the FDA. And this, of course, was a time that people needed it most, simply because of how powerful it is towards your respiratory health, your lung health. So was this just bad timing, or was the FDA up to something a little bit more? I'll let you put your thoughts in the comments down below. NAC, as it pertains to the lung, is going to act as a mucolytic, meaning that it's going to help you break down the mucus buildup in your lungs. And this is why it's often used for chronic bronchitis, asthma, COPD. It also can be very beneficial for just seasonal allergies. But here's the thing. You don't have to have a lung diagnosis in order to actually benefit from NAC. We're all going to be exposed to environmental toxins, pollutants, and a lot of stress on our lungs. And NAC is going to always help clear the mucus out, help open up the airways, and help reduce inflammation in our lungs, which we could all benefit from. It's going to make it easier to breathe and also oxygenate your body appropriately, which is very important for your brain health in all aspects of fighting chronic disease. In fact, studies have shown that NAC can actually reduce the symptoms of respiratory infections, including viral infections, and support the immune system in order to help reduce inflammation in the lungs. So this is why it was so beneficial during the pandemic. And in fact, this is why I actually recommend NAC is in everyone's medicine cabinet. I will tell you that it's in my medicine cabinet, and it's a common go-to when anybody is sick in my household. I will put a link in the description below to the NAC I use, which is dosed properly, and I will get more into dosing in just a minute, so stick with me to the end. Now, I want to share with you how NAC will actually impact your brain health, and this is going to be something important for all of us who will just want to have better cognitive ability, better memory, better mood. Let me explain. Now, NAC is going to be very beneficial because, as I mentioned many times, it raises glutathione. And NAC is going to help protect the brain from oxidative stress and inflammation. And those are the two biggest drivers of cognitive decline and mood disorders. Whenever you look at somebody who is having any type of brain issue, I mean, even like just reflect on yourself, for instance. If you're suffering with anxiety, if you're suffering with depression, if you're suffering with poor mood, there is a good chance that you may have inflammation in your brain. If you're suffering with poor cognitive abilities, poor brain endurance, and your memory just isn't there is a chance that you have inflammation in your brain. I know at one point I did, and this helped me greatly. So therefore, NAC has actually been proven to help with depression, anxiety, addiction recovery. And you might think to yourself, well, addiction recovery, that's not me, right? But you may be somebody who's using nicotine cigarettes and want to get off it, or maybe something even worse. But here's the thing. We all think of addiction in the way of really bad habits, in the way of, like I said, nicotine or cigarettes. But everybody is dealing with some sort of addiction at most points of their life, whether it's sugar, carbohydrates, overeating. Like there's a lot of really bad addictions that we develop, and it doesn't mean that we're a terrible person for it. It just means that we have to overcome it, and NAC can help. NAC has also been shown to help with psychiatric disorders such as bipolar disorder or OCD, because when you have inflammation in your brain, there is no saying to how severe all these different brain symptoms can get and even lead to a psychiatric disorder. And NAC has also been proven to help with neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, because reducing oxidative stress reduces oxidative damage to the brain cells, and this is very important. Now, one reason NAC actually helps so much in the brain is because it'll help balance glutamate. It's an important neurotransmitter. When glutamate levels are too high, it becomes neurotoxic, damaging the brain cells and affecting focus, motivation, mood, and even more. So NAC is going to help bring those glutamate levels back to a balanced state, helping your brain work more effectively and your mind work more clearly. Now, earlier we talked about how important NAC is for lung health, and it kind of poured into the topic of immune support. However, I want to really dial in on the immune support aspect of NAC because I think it's very important. Today, there's a war on your immune system. Many large companies trying to sell you different things in order to modulate or take control of your immune system. And I think that the best way to control your immune system is to do it naturally. naturally, and I'm going to share with you a way that you can do it with NAC. NAC is going to help boost your immune system in two powerful ways. It's going to boost glutathione in your white blood cells and also enhance the ability of your body to destroy pathogens. It also is going to help reduce chronic inflammation, which is associated with becoming sick. This is going to keep your immune system from getting overworked. Furthermore, your immune system can be improved and even restored by supplementing with NAC. It's going to help decrease the ability for viruses to replicate in your system and also support killing off cancer cells, which is going to be a really important aspect of what your immune system does in order to keep you healthy. So some studies even show that NAC can reduce the severity and duration of respiratory infections, especially when it's taken with different antioxidants such as vitamin C and zinc. In fact, what I use clinically all the time is this immune boosting support that has all the different immune boosters, and guess what's in it? It also has NAC. I will also put a link not only to NAC alone, but this immune booster, because this is another thing that my whole family is utilizing during the times of year when everybody's getting different viruses and pathogens and bacterial infections and everything else. We're boosting our immune system. Another thing that should be in everybody's medicine cabinet. So if you're looking for a natural immune support, especially during the cold and flu season, this is it. I will put a link in the description below. Now, all of that seems amazing, but there is still more. And stick with me because I'm going to get to how much you need to take. NAC will have a big impact on your hormonal health. So how does this affect you? Well, there's something that most people don't know, and that is NAC is actually going to support your metabolic health and your overall hormone balance. By reducing oxidative stress and improving insulin sensitivity, NAC is going to help regulate your blood sugar and do this very effectively. In fact, it's also been shown to help with women who have PCOS, and this is referred to as polycystic ovarian syndrome. And one of the reasons that this is so helpful is because it's going to actually improve ovulation and help lower insulin in the body, helping you reverse insulin resistance, naturally balancing your hormones. And because inflammation is the root of most chronic health conditions, what you're going to find is that when we have metabolic issues, inflammation is also associated with that. And so NAC's antioxidant benefit will help lower that inflammation and support the reversal of the metabolic disorder you're facing, whether it's high blood sugar, high cholesterol, fatty liver, whatever it is. NAC is very helpful of all of those different problems in the body. Now, how do we use NAC? You know, there's a few pointers I want you to take away today, and this is going to be very important because we have to make sure if we want to get the benefits that NAC has to offer in the research, we have to use it correctly. So when we look at typical dose, okay, typical dose of NAC for a day-to-day maintenance, right? You want to get all the benefits I just mentioned, day-to-day maintenance, right around 600 milligrams. Now, if you want to take NAC because you are specifically suffering from one of the health conditions I mentioned in this particular video, then you're going to want to be around the 1200 milligram mark. Okay, so 600 as a daily maintainer, that's what I take every single day as a daily maintainer. But if I am struggling, my lungs are struggling, my immune system is struggling, I'll take a higher dose, okay? Remember, I'm going to put a link to the NAC and the immune booster support in the description. Now, best time to take NAC. Best time to take it is on an empty stomach, and this is going to support better absorption. And you want to make sure that you're taking it away from proteins, because whenever you take NAC alongside of a protein, you're going to find that it'll actually compete for absorption. So therefore, taking it on an empty stomach is a great way to do so. If you're someone who's very sensitive to taking supplements on an empty stomach, then by all means, take it with a meal. It's better taking it with a meal than not taking it at all. Now, also, if you want to boost the impact of NAC in your body, you can pair it with vitamin C, selenium, or even glycine. For many of us, if you're taking NAC along with a multivitamin, you're going to have that all covered. So therefore, you're going to be able to regenerate glutathione much more effectively, and you're going to have that oxidative fighting force in your body, detox support that will ultimately keep you healthy on a day-to-day basis so that you can keep your immune system up and you can keep your body functioning at peak potential. NAC is by far one of the most inexpensive and impactful things that you can take to improve your health on a daily basis. I'm Dr. Zyrowski. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you love this one, watch this one next.